everybody, Chef Marshall here. Welcome to Cooking with Confidence with yours truly. Appreciate you being here. Before we get into tonight's recipe, make sure that you are subscribing on Facebook, Chef Marshall O'Brien right here. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. Got some competition out there, so it's Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence and Instagram, chefmarshallobrien.com. Really excited to have you here. You know, we put this show together for 3 reasons. Number 1 is to help you improve your skills and confidence in the kitchen. That's 1 and 2. Help you get some stress out of your life with meal planning. And number 4, help nourish you and your family. And you know what? I missed the first step, is to give you a positive experience at least 1 day a month, week. Boy, I'm off my game tonight, okay? I need some foods for better mental clarity. But anyways, so excited to have you here. Now, let's talk about tonight's recipe. We have a skillet fillet, whitefish fillet, skillet fillet with avocado salsa. This is super delicious, really simple. We are using a whitefish of choice. I have some walleye here. We're going to season it with a little paprika, garlic powder, salt and pepper. And then for the tangy avocado salsa, we got avocados, tomatoes, lime juice, cilantro, red onion, a little olive oil, salt and pepper. Doesn't get any simpler than this. For those of you that are new to this program, every week we give you this live interactive cooking experience where you can get the recipes, shopping list in advance, and cook with me in real time, and then we answer your questions and we help you with your ideas. So if you say, hey, why'd my oven catch on fire? We, in theory, will have an answer for you. Hopefully that does not happen. But we want to make this as fun and inviting and just give you a really cool experience. So that's why I got my awesome right-hand gal, Miss Jonna here, answering questions. Hello.
Hi, babe. Hello, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Dude, I am struggling tonight.
Günaydın, iyi akşamlar. Go
İyi
ahead.
akşamlar. All right. So, but Jonna's going to be taking your questions. So if you're watching streaming on Facebook or YouTube, type in your questions, comments, that sort of thing, and Jonna's going to relay them, and we're going to answer them in real time. If you are watching outside of tonight, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can always watch the videos on YouTube. You just won't be able to answer your questions, but that's how we do it. Also, one thing that's really cool about this is we want you to take pictures of your food. If it's action photos, if it's like, you're cooking with your family or your significant other, so you got, fun date night, whatever it might be, or the finished product. Take those pictures, put it in the comments. You can put it in Facebook Messenger. You can email us so that we can acknowledge you and give you a shout out. And we do that in every episode. So a lot of fun. Really appreciate you being here. We've got an awesome recipe. Let's dig in right now. We always start out by saying it's really important that you have your ingredients. You can always make substitutions, but make sure you have your ingredients. Make sure that you have a knife and a cutting board, and you want to have a sturdy knife and a sturdy cutting board. So a good chef's tip here is to make sure that you keep your knife sharp, because a sharp knife is a what knife, ladies and gentlemen? It is a safe knife. Yeah, that's right. And the more you take care of your knives, the easier it's going to be for you to cut and prepare your food. I know that sounds obvious, but you just want to have some of those, take care of your stuff, okay? So have a nice sharp knife. I have a couple different knives here that I have just in case I'm going to have some failure with the tomatoes, because you just never know. Sometimes tomatoes can be hard to cut if your knife's not sharp enough. So having a honing steel is really nice, but I got my frying pan, I got my bowl, I got my spatula. We're all set. And speaking of being all set, I'm going to be preparing the avocado salsa first. Questions, comments, thoughts, folks, put them in the chat box, whether you're streaming live on YouTube or Facebook. And please subscribe, Instagram, Chef Marshall O'Brien, or on the YouTube channel. The more subscribers we get on YouTube, the more we will be able to unlock production capabilities, because as time goes on, we're going to be adding more different variations of the content to be a resource for you on our YouTube site, whether it's cooking tips and recaps of the recipes and that sort of thing. So we want the production capabilities. We need the subscribers. Beautiful thing, doesn't cost you anything. But just go click like. That would help us out. Let's start with our avocado tomato salsa. First things first, we got this beautiful avocado. It's ripe, it's tender. A lot of people ask, how do you know an avocado is ripe. And I tried to explain a little bit of that on the shopping list. If you did not get the shopping list, please go to chefmarshallobrien.com/show so you can sign up and get those in advance. But you want to feel like, if you gently, if you put your thumb, not firmly, but just gently next to your hand like this, and you squeeze the meat right there, you'll feel it's tender, but it's springy, okay? So this is a nice little tip for you. That's how you know it's tender. There might be a little more firmness, but the point is if it's mushy, it's not good. If it's rock hard, it's not ripe. Another thing you can do is if you want to speed up the ripening process, you can add your avocado in a bag with an apple or a banana, and that way the ethyl gas from the fruit will help speed up the ripening of an avocado. A lot of produce is designed for shipping and then consumption later after sitting for long periods of time in most grocery stores. It's not necessarily designed for eating right away. So you got to kind of put that in perspective. You might have to get an avocado or two, or in advance and let it ripen up. Having said that, I'm going to take my knife here and I'm going to spin it around. And I'm just you can see that something is inside there. For those of you that have not dealt with avocados before, there's a nice big pit. Okay, most of us have. And I am going to just gently turn it, just look at that. Wow, look at that. Is that awesome or what? And opening that up, and it looks pretty good for the most part. We got one little spot, but that's how you do it. Very, very simple. And I'm just going to take my pit and try to pop it out. There we go. I got it. Here's another tip for you folks. If you're making this avocado salsa and you're going to have leftovers, and a couple of you emailed me and you had leftovers, certainly you can add some kind of acid like the lime juice, which we have in the recipe. But if you leave the pit in with the avocado mixture, that will also help prevent oxidizing. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm going to set that aside. But how do you get all the barriers out of the way? How do you make this fun? How do you make this easy? How do you make it, make this salsa in advance? You can make it the day before if you want. So we're going to take our avocado here. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Liz is saying paper bag for ripeness.
Yep, that'd be great. Put it in a paper bag. You could, now that paper bag is going to breathe. You could put it in a plastic bag. That'll work too. I think on the recipe or on the shopping list, I suggested to put it in a paper bag, but plastic bag would work fine. There's a couple ways you can do this. If your avocado is really soft, you could just scoop it out and mash it up. So the texture of your salsa might be chunky. It might be a little smooth, chunky. I'm really flexible on that. I just want to help you get all the barriers out of the way so that you can get these great tasting and nourishing foods into your life. Now, speaking of life, I want food to be nourishing. I want food to work for you and not against you. One thing I love about avocados, we incorporate all these health benefits, talking about foods with health benefits. What I love about avocados is they are rich in potassium. And what's so significant about potassium is it can help normalize blood pressure, and it can help reduce stress as a result. So I don't know if anybody has any stress in their life these days. I kind of do. I'm going to raise my hand. How about you? Get a little
Two hands.
Yeah, got a little stress. Eat potassium-rich foods. And potassium is one of those nutrients that gets rapidly depleted in stressful times. So you want to make sure, you want that shot. What are you trying to do, Gabriel? You trying to get that fancy shot over there? Get potassium-rich foods in your life. Okay, dark leafy greens, avocados, bananas, those are obvious ones. Beets, lentils, those are really good too. I'm just skimming I don't want that little funky dark piece there. I'm not going to take that. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could have taken your knife and done a series of cuts in here, and then cut it and dice it and scoop it. I did it a little more rustic. And really, however you want to do it. All right. Comments, thoughts, questions? Good evening, everybody. If you are wondering where you got the shopping list, and the recipes, we do give the recipe a day or two before the show, but if you sign up and it doesn't cost you anything, you get on the email list and we'll send you the recipes every Saturday morning so that you can cook with us and have the ingredients and answer your questions. And, we want to give you a fun Thursday night. We need a little more fun in our life. I certainly do, so thank you for humoring me on that. With my tomatoes, I have these vine-on tomatoes. The stem is really, it's not that thick, but depending on, the size and the species of the tomato, that stem can be thick and fibrous. So I cut it out, but you don't necessarily have to. And then we're just going to dice. Hey folks, let me know in the chat box, how are your knife skills this week? I love asking this question. Scale of 1 to 4. 4, super ninja knife master, or a 1, need a little work. Where are you folks? Where are you at with your knife skills? Practice. That's where I'm going. Every day, I want you to practice at least 1 minute a day, 7 days a week. That's 7 minutes. That's less than 10 minutes. I think we can handle that, okay? But all jokes aside, I want you to practice. You see how I do the rocking motion. You see how I let the knife do the work. And I'm just going to let this slide, glide it, and my knuckles guide my knife, but ultimately my knife is doing the work, okay? My knife is doing the work. I'm going to get a little bit of that peel from the avocado out of the way. If you want to use avocado pulp, basically it's just mashed up avocado. You can buy it in the refrigerated section and in a lot of produce aisles or produce areas in the grocery store. You can do that. And there's even frozen avocado pulp. The texture is going to be a little bit different. They may or may not be adding any kind of preservatives just to make sure that doesn't oxidize. I don't know. Give it a try. But I definitely, fresh is always best in my mind. We've cut up our tomatoes. I do not recommend using canned tomatoes in this. I think that the flavor and the texture can be a little too acidic and a little too, I think the texture might be a little too mealy. But if you do try with canned tomatoes, I would say at a minimum, drain them thoroughly. And if anybody did use canned tomatoes tonight, I'd like to know how it turned out for you. Man, look at that. That looks gorgeous.
We have some 3s and 1s.
Okay, thank you. I asked that question and totally 3s and 1s. Well, appreciate your honesty there, folks. You can see my skills are probably I think I'm at a 4 now. I've been practicing a little bit. Again, I'm using, if you want to use a little, for you that are you like little gadgets and stuff, and you like using that kind of stuff, certainly you can core out the tomato, and it doesn't have to be an exact certain size. You just want it to be easy enough that you can top the fish, and you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be easy for you to eat. So I kind of diced those pieces up where these are a little more chopped up. So I'm really flexible is all I'm trying to say. I want you to make it work for you. If you want to use cherry tomatoes, you want to use grape tomatoes, that would be just fine. That would be great. All right, let's add those into our pan. Questions, comments, thoughts? Folks, do us a big favor. For those of you that are watching right now, please go to YouTube real quick and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Help us out so we can have more production capabilities as we are growing our audience on YouTube. Question, thought?
Dominic was saying, yep, sometimes I make it to the next weekend before using the email recipe. I don't know. That was a content that I may have.
I don't know what you just said. But,
I don't know either.
But Dominic, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. It wasn't about you. I think it was her communication to me. Okay, if you want to say it again, that's fine.
Read the comments today.
Oh, before I add the lime juice, let's do onion. Okay, what I love about using red onion in this situation, this is a cold dish, or the salsa's cold, at least we're going to put it on top of the fish and it'll warm up, but the color and the texture, the crispness of it is going to be great. So it's going to just look really festive. And you could do this dish, having this dish now as it gets warmer, it's just going to add nice brightness to your evening dinner routine. We're going to peel off the top layer of this. And I'm going to get rid of that. And then we're going to dice up some of this red onion. Let your knife do the work. I'm using a series of draw cuts here. And you notice how I kept my onion intact. You know, a lot of you that have cooked with me more than a few times, you know I have a few different ways I do this, and for the most part it's staying intact. I want to keep it intact. And then we can go back to, I'm going to trim that little paper end off. But now we can just go to, boom, doing that. That looks great. And I like to have smaller pieces here. So it'll be just a little more palatable with the flavor, the combination that we have. And then we're going to add it to our, I got a little extra that I don't need all that. Let's mix it up some more. Questions, comments, thoughts? Folks, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Chef Marshall O'Brien, YouTube, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence, and of course Facebook. We're live streaming right now, Facebook and YouTube, with our Skillet Fillet with tangy avocado salsa. Don't have the recipes? Go to chefmarshallobrien.com. Sign up, get them. Don't have to do them every week, but at least you'll have them, so then you can if you want, all right? We're going to add some lime juice to it. Oh, that smells so good. I love that. Boom, right there. Get the lime juice going. Adjust the flavors as you want. I like mine a little more tangy. Maybe you don't. That's okay. But I like mine tangy. Okay. And you can certainly season it with a dash of salt and pepper in there. Really don't need it. There's so much flavor from the cilantro and the lime juice. But of course, you know, it's up to you. What do you want me to do? Okay, look, Mr. Food Stylist back there wants me to flip it so we can see it. Awesome. There we go. So I have this is getting like a creamy consistency because of the acids from the lime juice and the tomatoes. You don't have to do it this way. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I always like to say that cooking is an art and baking is a science. So as you are creating this, you know, put your own twist, your own spin into it. And maybe you're not a cilantro fan. We've talked about cilantro in past episodes. If you want to throw parsley or you want a little more flavor, because I know parsley is like, doesn't have a lot of flavor. It has flavor, but not a lot. Maybe you throw some basil in there. I mean, that would taste phenomenal. Point is, make it your own, okay? I want to get all the barriers out of the way so that you can enjoy doing these. And speaking of enjoy doing these, if you have kids or grandkids in your life and you're cooking together, do that. I mean, this is like these kinds of recipes are gonna like foster fun memories, and they're gonna introduce and expose people to new foods. And actually, I'm excited to share. Well, not gonna do it now, but I'm excited to share some of the shout outs because a couple people commented on how that actually happened. You know, sharing new foods. And anyways, point is, get people involved with you. Share these with your friends and have them do it in their kitchen like you're doing it with me tonight, all right? Okay, speaking of chopping up and doing it, we're gonna cut up our cilantro here. And you notice that I turned on my oven. I turned on my sheet pan.
How is that going?
What did I do? I turned this thing on.
Refrigerator?
Thank you. Yeah, the refrigerator. And I put the ice in the microwave. So we're all set. And while I change the cat's diapers, we're just kidding. Okay, I'm taking it too far. But I'm preheating my oven. Did it again. Preheating the pan. I am preheating the pan. Chopped up the cilantro. Preheating the pan because I want to make sure that pan is nice and hot so that it will cook the fish properly. Speaking of fish, for those of you that are a little, let me add a little olive oil, then I'll finish my thought. We're going to divide up the oil as it said on the recipe. We're going to do 1 part olive oil in the salsa and then 2 parts for the fish. All right, this is all set. For those of you that are apprehensive about pan frying fish, if you're scared that it might stick or it's just hard to do, you can always, this is a good tip for you, you can always bake it or broil it. So just put it on a foil or parchment lined sheet pan and then bake it in the oven at 375 degrees if you're going to bake it. And it'll probably be done in about 10 minutes-ish because it's a fairly, at least unless you're doing like a sea bass or if it's a real thick fish, it's going to take longer. But this is a nice thin fish. So you can do it in the oven. If you're going to broil it, obviously it's going to take, you'll want to have about 5 to 6 inches max from the broil, which is your heat element on top of your oven, on the inside, on the top. So you could always broil it too, and that's just fine. So So there's other ways to do it besides in the pan. I want to show you in the pan because a lot of times people get intimidated with that. Whenever there's a technique that causes a little intimidation and apprehension, I want to show you so we can get past that. All right, questions, comments, thoughts?
We have comments.
Yes.
Fate Mullen says, I like the hint about using the pit in the salsa since I will have some leftovers.
I'll just do that. There we go. Okay. Thank you.
then-
Glad that works for you.
And then also leaving the onion intact is the best tip that I have gotten in the cooking with you, both
Good.
with onions and garlic.
You know what? Take these tips, use them as they work for you. You know, we all have different styles, and you know, I'm not saying you have to do it my way, but if it makes life a little easier and it helps you in the kitchen, that's going in a positive direction. All right, we have paprika, we have salt and pepper. You know, you don't have to make a nice little presentation as I did, but I wanted to show you. The different spices that we're using. It's simple. You could get you could get fancier if you wanted. But I like the paprika, and I like the garlic powder, salt and pepper. Simple, simple, simple. So we are going to sprinkle it on there, and that looks really nice. All right. I mentioned in the recipe skin. You're going to put it skin side up. Well, you may not have skin. This is where you can see they peeled it there, and that's okay. No problem with that. The idea is we want to get some nice color, and we want to set the fish. We want to set the fish and get it firm so that we can flip it. And so I'm just giving you that direction and move forward like that. Pan should be hot now. I can feel the heat radiating. Now I'm using olive oil, and you need to make sure that when you use olive oil, don't get too hot because olive oil has a medium smoke point, and we're cooking medium-high heat, so if you take too long to get your food in the pan, it can smoke fairly quickly. If you want to use ghee, which is clarified, it's basically clarified butter, the milk solids have been removed and it's just milk fat, you can use ghee if you want. If you want to use coconut oil, avocado oil, I know some of you like to cook with avocado oil. Those are higher smoke points. Certainly is just fine. Any comments, thoughts, questions? All right, I am just feeling my heat. You don't have to stick your hand in the pan, but I have no feeling. So I think we're good there. We're going to, again, some of those little nuanced techniques are really important. The hot pan's important. I'm using a no non-stick pan. And I'm doing this by design because, again, I want to show you, like, if you have a non-stick pan, it's easy. If you have a no non-stick pan, well, now you need to make sure you have enough heat, and then make sure you have enough fat in the pan, and it will work great. I prefer to use no non-stick because a lot of the non-stick pans, they get old. If you use them a lot, they can flake, and the material in there, you don't really want to eat the material that's coating the pan. So if you are going to do non-stick, I would suggest an anodized pan, which I have one of those, and I use it a lot, and it's great. But whenever I can, I use no non-stick. All right. I get no nonsense with a no non-stick pan. I just tried that. How'd that go over?
It's going very well.
Good. All right. All right, we got a little sizzle from some moisture in the pan. Now I'm going to add the fish, and I'm going to put it seasoned side down, and I'm putting it away from myself so that I do not splatter on me. This stage is critical that you let it set a bit so that it's going to seal and it's going to crust, and the fish will sort of, congeal is not the right word, but it will set together, and then it'll be easier to flip. And you also just want to make sure that you've got enough fat underneath the fish, because if you don't, then it sticks to the pan, and it already might be sticking to the pan. We'll find out. All right, questions, comments, thoughts, folks. Questions, comments, and thoughts. I'm gonna grab one more plate so that I can show you. This is gonna go really quick, which is the nice thing about this. It's gonna go really quick, and what I mean by that, a fillet like this, it could be Dover sole, it could be tilapia, walleye, which I'm using, cod. The thinner, again, with the higher heat, with this high heat that we have, or medium-high heat, the thinner the fish, it's just going to go like that. So I think we're already looking at, you can see we have some opaqueness around the sides. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, beautiful. We're going to flip this, and I'm going to scrape a little bit. This is good. Okay, and now I have it. See how it's sliding? That's good. Now I need to scrape a little bit on this one. And I want to get that to slide. Beautiful. If you need to add a little more fat to the pan, that's okay. Having fat is a good thing. It helps keep your metabolism going. Fats are going to help you feel fuller longer. You want to have fat. Now I'm going to flip this, and if you feel uncomfortable with a big piece like that, you can always cut it in half now or before. I would have cut it before because I like the presentation. You know, when you cut it in half right now, you know, it's a little flakier. Not a big deal. Do whatever it takes to make you feel comfortable. But we're going to flip the fish, and I'm going to carefully flip it with authority. Did you see that? Got a little authority. Flip it over. There we go. Beautiful.
Smells good.
Also, I want you to notice, folks, you see how we have some of the fish that's kind of flaking a little bit? This is already probably 90% cooked through. And I'm giving it a little bit of a shake here as well, so that just to prevent it from sticking. But this can be done, folks. I know. Let me know. Did that look easy? Let me know in the chat, in the comments there. Did that look easy?
Amy says this will make great fish tacos too.
Oh, you know what? You took one of my things, Amy. But yes, absolutely. To Amy's point, you could take this, you could have this pre-cooked, have it in your fridge or freezer, and you've got your salsa, and then take some, warm corn tortillas or warm whole wheat tortilla, and then put, a little extra herbs in there, a little extra cilantro, maybe some green onions would be really nice too. And then just put the fish with the salsa, and you've got some awesome tacos, maybe even a little lime mayonnaise, a little more, with some cabbage you mix up, a little more Baja style, would be beautiful. These are ready to go. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with, breaking a little piece. You like the presentation of the whole filet. I don't know, maybe I like to do that. I like to do that for my kids. They're used to that. Not everyone's into that. Make it work for you, okay? I don't want you to be intimidated by this. I want you to say, I can do it. This is fun. So however that is, make it work, all right? And this is basically done. So I'm going to turn off the heat. This looks gorgeous. And I'm going to divide one of these. Another way you can tell that this fish is good, like it's ready to go, we obviously showed with the, you know how you have the little, like the flakes, I'm having a hard time talking today. The meat is separating a little bit. You can also tell because it's basically cooked all the way through, and that's important too. You want to see how it's just cooked all the way through. We don't want to overcook fish, folks. People tend to cook the flip. Get that the flip out of fish? I don't know where I was going with that. The point is, people tend to cook the heck out of the fish. And I'd rather have it be just cooked through, or maybe even on the rare side. It's going to have much better texture versus if you just cook it for like a half hour in the pan. This was like, what, 3 minutes? 3 minutes? It was quick. It's good. It's going to taste so much better. Texture is going to be nice. It's going to be a little more melty in your mouth versus rubbery. That's where I'm going with that. All right. You know what? Before I pan it up, I want to show you some awesome pictures from last week's show, starting with Amy Varab. This looks beautiful, outstanding. I guess I should have doubled the recipe as my teens were bummed there weren't leftovers. That's awesome, love it. We have BK Mullen says, it may not look like much because I made half the recipe for 2 of us this week. They gave half the other ingredients and a copy of the recipe to the neighbor next, a family of 5. She said she'll make it this recipe. You know what? I want to say that was beautiful, and I want more people to share, and that makes me want to cry because that's really cool. This is what it's all about: is to help others, have fun, share, build community. Love it. Well done. Cindy says I'll be there next week. I hope you're here tonight, Cindy. Love the meal. Awesome. By the way, we made the Sweet Dreams one-pan chicken last week. You're wondering what that was. It's a keeper. Awesome.
Yep, Cindy's here.
And Jackie, hey there, tasty dish. Photo doesn't do justice, but you know what? You made it. And folks, please make sure you take a picture and send it to us. We want to see how it looks. Beautiful, beautiful. And Pam, Oh, always wondering what to make with kale, so this was great. She made a double batch and have leftovers. Nice thinking there. Look forward to Thursdays knowing that we're going to have a yummy, healthy dinner. We want to provide you a great tasting, nourishing dinner at least once a night that you can have fun, that you made, and feel good about it. Beautiful. And Cindy says, so delicious, served hers with rice. Even my picky hubby liked it. We love that. We want to make sure, folks, stretch yourself, have fun, enjoy these things. And if you're looking for more help in the kitchen, grab our Smart Nutrition Cookbook. Go to chefmarshallobrien.com/shop. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. It's a great resource. Get it for you, for your kids in college, for people that need to learn how to cook. It's an easy resource. You know my style. All right, now let's pan it up. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Angela's flip didn't go very slick, but she says smells and looks good. And also she did use canned tomatoes in her salsa, so she's going to let you post it.
Very cool. And Angela, you know what? I appreciate your honesty with that, because part of this is practice, okay? And I'm a huge, progress over perfection. And the more you practice, the more progress you have. And then whatever perfection ends up meaning, to me, this was great, and you might, I can show you how to do this with confidence and make it simple. And you've done it once, and you might do it a little different. And as you get practice some more, get better, better, better. So I commend you on doing that. I'm glad you did it. That's awesome. We're going to top this with a little bit of salsa there. How does that look? Does that look dynamite? I think that looks super beautiful. Wow, look at that.
That looks good.
Looks really nice.
Beautiful.
All right,
Ooh.
I'm going to serve.
I get the first one?
Yeah, you get the first one.
Thank you.
Recap tips, folks, real quick. So we talked about, there's a variety of white fish you can use, and you can do it in the skillet, or you can do it in the oven, bake it or broil it. You want to go cilantro on the herbs, great. If you want to switch up the herbs, so switch them up, Canned tomatoes versus fresh tomatoes. Angela's going to let us know what she thought. I say go fresh, but you can try it out. Substitute those ingredients. And remember that the avocado, rich in potassium, going to help relax your body, in those times of stress. Got a little bit of that, can relate, okay? Get potassium-rich foods. Also, make sure, like Amy said, tacos, awesome for tacos. Have the fish, I would have the fish cooked in advance in your freezer, then you can just take it, pop it on your tortillas, put the salsa on, boom. You're going to love it, okay? Don't forget to submit your pictures of tonight's dish. No matter how excited you are and eager to eat it up and enjoy it, please take a picture and post it in the comments here or on Facebook Messenger, or if you want to send an email, whatever works for you. We want to know. We want to see it. Love having you do it. Thank you so much for cooking with me tonight. This was awesome. Appreciate the participation and interaction, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's meal. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Chef Marshall O'Brien, on Instagram, Chef Marshall O'Brien, and go to YouTube. We got some competition on YouTube. We need your help. Subscribe, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. Subscribe to that. All right, please do that. Now, if you want more help in the kitchen, again, grab our Smart Nutrition Cookbook and Meal Planner, okay? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. It's a fantastic resource for the novice cooks that just want a little more structure, a little more comfort, a little more guidance. Get the book. Go to chefmarshallobrien.com/shop or smartnutritioncookbook.com. That works. Next week, we have, and I'm really excited, this is going to be a new recipe. We're having chicken puttanesca. And if you know what puttanesca means, put it in the comments. We'll talk about it next week. But it's going to be a dynamite recipe, and it's going to be one of those nice one-pan meals. You're going to love it. Please tune in. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Have a magical evening. Bye, everyone.